Ready. Welcome everyone tonight to the small group here, Dialogue and Leadership Unplugged, small group for growth here at Love and Life Ministry. We begin here every 2 weeks, 7:30 p.m. at Love and Life Ministry, and the pastor national is Reverend Injun Moon. We want to thank you very much, each and every one of you, for coming here in the group, and more people are still waiting. In New York, as you know, there's so much traffic, even at this hour, almost every day. And right now, we'd like to welcome all the listeners and one of you watching this, so that we can be connected in this one area of the small group and growth and dialogue. And I'd like that each person can say your name, and we have someone new tonight, so we'd like to also hear something from each other. Okay. Your name?
My name is Michael.
My name is Jorge Coya Espinosa.
My name is Olga.
Okay, Olga. My name is Esteban. Tonight, we're coming into a little bit past the middle point of the small group and discussion and dialogue. And I want to, at this time, we always like to, in the small group, to come to a point of discussion about, some area that may be unfinished and some question you may have or that you want to raise before the group before we really get started in some other issue. So perhaps Michael or Jorge, Olga, you have something to bring to the group in thinking and discussion. On the way here, thank you, Michael. On the way here, I saw 2 rainbows in the sky. It was raining. And I thought to myself, interesting. Last time I saw 2 rainbows, or 3 rainbows, was in 1973 in Texas. But many times we see certain signs that have symbols for us, and sometimes meaning of fortune, bringing good luck. And so I felt, wow, it's a good sign. 2 rainbows. That's a good fortune. I thought, well, maybe I have something good coming up. So tell me, what do you think about that? In culture, many times we have different symbols. I remember my mother, when I was a little boy, she had a horseshoe on the top of the doorway as we left the house. I used to look at it. I never asked my mother why she put that horseshoe there. But as we know, the horseshoe is a sign, is a symbol of good luck. Some people walk around with a little rabbit's foot with a keychain.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
How about some of you? In your family or yourself, do you have some good fortune symbols? Or?
I know in my family, it's not really a symbol, but it's almost like some words you say for good luck or for blessings. My mother, every time I walk out of the door, every day of my life, my mom always says, "Go with God this way." Every time I walk out of my door, it's just like a blessing.
It's interesting you say that. You remind me of the habit I see many times of Hispanic people when they go by in front of a Catholic church or they go in front of the church. Yeah. They cross themselves,
right.
Many times.
Yeah.
And that's another, like asking God for the blessing on this day.
Yeah, it's very cool, Hispanic, I think. Cause my mom never says it in English, she says in Spanish, "Vete con Dios."
Vete con Dios. Go with God. Go with God.
Right, Spanish.
So that's in our culture, isn't it? That's in our culture, people's culture. Different cultures have different signs.
Yeah, even it should be part of my culture and part of my family's culture, but we don't do that.
You don't do what?
The whole praying, the whole crossing yourself when you see a church, and
do you have any signs or symbols you want to share?
Well, mine's not as big as his, like important. Mine's is kind of small. When I was in high school, the days that I wore a certain shirt, it was the day that I saw a girl that I liked. So, every day that I wore that shirt, not that I wore it every day, but, I saw her. So that was my kind of good fortune kind of thing. But I think it gave the impression that I was poor or that I only had that one shirt. All right. To her.
Okay, can you think of anything that comes to mind?
I'm thinking about maybe not a particular sign for my family, but I'm immediately thinking about my father, who who is not religious at all, who is like professor of philosophy, like this highest intellectual who doesn't believe in God or anything. But he always believed in these small things. Like if you come back home, like if you forgot something, you return, just look in the mirror. He would always tell me, Olga, look in the mirror. I said, Dad, you don't even believe in this stuff. Why are you telling me this? It was so funny because like it means there is something right inside which kind of tries to kind of understand the unknown and ununderstandable. And it also like it's very interesting. Even if we don't believe in science, I believe they give us some, I don't know, reassurance that everything will be okay. Maybe this conviction drives us. Maybe we will not be able to like, beat this Olympic record, but we have this small amulet and we beat it. And of course, amulet doesn't have anything to do with this. But this protection is
It just gives us, you know.
No, but there is. Also, you bring out a very good point that perhaps what's happening here is in culture, in people, there's an admittance of forces outside of us. You see, because there could be fortune or misfortune outside of us, good or bad luck. And in civilization, we see the American Indians, and in many cases, we see the Indian civilization holding, like, have totem poles.
Yes.
Will have a totem pole of different faces, and this totem pole will be a symbol of, maybe it might be a symbol of the forces that they're inviting. And some people even carry a really small totem pole with them around. And some people wear scapulars. Some people wear a scapular or a chain with a saint name. Or you see on dashboards, many people on the dashboards, they have a picture of someone who has spiritual powers. And you look at, did you try it? Did it work?
Yes, it's like my habit now, you know. I do it just because like I was raised with this habit. Yeah, just look in the mirror. Yeah.
So what would happen when you looked in the mirror?
I kind of find myself again. Maybe I just kind of, if I forgot something, it means I forgot myself. Maybe and then I go back.
Wow.
I will connect. It's this explanation that came up just right now. I don't know.
Hey, that's what small group is about, right?
Yeah.
It's like we just spontaneously were sharing and with our history, because there's, as we say, there's many times you might say there's myths, or there's family tales, stories.
Right.
One girl, she shared with me, a student, she said that, you know, that even she has in their family, they always interpret their dreams in their family, and the numbers in the dreams too.
Incredible.
And they even pull out books that, in the family, the father pulls out the books that they talk about
Wow.
dream interpretation.
Incredible. Well, that's incredible. I mean, they say that everyone dreams every day, but you just don't remember your dreams. That's what they say. That's for sure. But I know that I dream a lot. Like, I know this morning I had a pretty scary dream, and I'll share a little bit about it. I was in the subway, and I haven't had some kind of violent dream in a long time. But in the subway, somebody didn't like me, and they shot me 3 times. They shot me twice in my leg and once in this part of my arm right here. And I clearly remember. And sometimes you wonder, like, why out of nowhere? And especially maybe like when something is important in your life is about to happen, you get these bad dreams. I don't know, it's weird. Like when you get a big plan coming up. I don't know, you know, the dream stuff is really interesting to me, actually. Very, very interesting.
Well, anybody want to respond to that? Anybody here interpret dreams?
No, we actually, all I can think of was a researcher. There's a new study that was done on dreams. And they talk about how everything that Friedman Freud said is becoming undone because of what they're finding out on dreams, on studies done about dreams. They were doing studies about this. They was giving an example about a man. There was learning how to ski with a video game they were trying testing him on. He was really bad at it at first, and afterward they put him to sleep, and in his dream he was dreaming about skiing. So they keep making him do the game all over again. And in his dream he thought about it and slept about it. The next day he was able to do it. So it just talked about how when you dream is your brain just going through your database and memorizing everything that you learn and trying to store it. It's like we are computers they were talking about, and how our days, it's just going through, our dreams are just information being absorbed to our mind to memorize it, and what is useful, what is not, and being thrown away, what's to keep. So that's what they were talking about.
What you're saying to another level, and tell us, how do you feel that this is of value to humankind right now?
Well, people should.
I mean, how can we use what information you bring here? How can we use that? How can that be of use to us? Like in respect to when we're talking about human culture, and we're talking about what people hold on to, and we hold on to dreams. If we're going to use dreams, and if Freud or Carl Jung, Sigmund Freud or Carl Jung, and the research into the subconscious, you know.
Right.
Of course, we know there's going to be the psychological, there's going to be the psychoanalytical, and there's going to be the spiritual, there's going to be the mystical, and there's so many different levels in terms you can take a dream, right?
Right.
In your research, what conclusions would you make?
As soon as you're learning something, go to sleep. That's what I do. That's what I try to do. As soon as I'm trying to remember something that I need to, I have an important test, I study, and then I try to go to sleep. So I take a nap, so my brain will memorize that information subconsciously. So
it's interesting because that's what we do in school, right? We sometimes data, which is hard to remember, facts, or maybe for an exam, major exam, what we do, we study just before we go to bed, right?
Dreams, but it's reminded me about the book that I read, Sherlock Holmes, the first one, The Study in Scotland. He talked about how his method of why he is who he is, and he talked about how he only studies certain materials because he sees his brain as a room, and in this room he needs to have like the perfect kind of furniture meaning the right kind of knowledge for what he's going to do, and Watson was shocked that he didn't know about the solar system, and he told him, how is that knowing about the solar system going to help me solve murders? So what he does is only learn about certain topics, certain things. So it'll be easier for him to go to his mind and remember that memory. So that's what I think about. Like people sometimes learn too many things, and because of that, it's hard for them to talk about something because there's so many things going on in there. So I agree with him, like focusing on certain types of topics, they will help you on your career or what you're trying to do.
In putting together, bringing you together with Jorge and those that come in when you like, the story, especially when you remember having dreams, you remember something that you're dwelling on during the day, a certain arrangement of rooms, as Sherlock Holmes likes. He likes the room a certain way, or what he would like in the room, what kind of furniture. Something we like, we dwell on, as they say. Then many times we might dream about it, more than likely that night, or some person that maybe we really like a lot, or even someone we fear. So maybe your leg or your arm, maybe you were afraid lately that maybe you're ill in your leg or your arm.
Are you interpreting my dream?
Maybe I'm wondering,
Okay,
I'm asking. Because somehow I'm not interpreting, I think more I'm asking what it is that, where did you go with it?
Right.
Because sometimes it's important, whatever happens to us, where do we go with it?
Kind of crazy things going on. Thankfully, I live in a good neighborhood though. But my point is that my mind and my heart has not been surrounded with fear or death or violence at all. So why am I thinking about this, you know? And it's kind of difficult because a lot of times.
Okay, now let's stay with that.
Okay.
Why am I thinking about it? Sometimes we don't think when we're in dreams. That's a state of not of thinking, but it's a state almost of subconscious traveling. It could be you're traveling too. Some people, for instance, this girl I mentioned to you, a student, she mentioned as she's dreaming, she'll wake up. If she remembers certain numbers in the dream, she'll write those numbers down, and she hit the lottery.
Oh, there you go.
People
say that.
Yeah, actually, it's
She jumped
incredible.
up, she remembered the numbers in her dream, and she actually, the family won a big time money.
people that are poor, you know, we're talking about society and leadership. In my family especially, I see it clearly. People try to hold on to the fact that, you know, I'm poor, so, you know, I'll get a message in a dream and I'll hit the lottery. But I think it's really a fallen cycle, because people are really, I think it's very, very true, Mr. Esteban. Many people are hoping to get a nice dream, you know, and they see a number, a specific pattern in the dream. Oh, that has to be the lottery. Oh, tomorrow's your birthday? Those numbers have to be in the lottery. It's crazy. Like my dad, especially my dad, my mom not so much, but my dad, he's a psycho when it comes to like dreams. He picks every number and it has to be with the lottery. Everyone's birthday has to be in the lottery. And I mean, I can say right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people sitting here. So if I say number 4, oh look, I should have put that number in the lottery. It's just a mathematic number a pattern that I put together, and it just happens to be a lottery.
Moving so fast on this.
Sorry.
I mean, right. Now, our audience wonders if that's what we all are here talking and saying, and I would disagree with you.
Okay.
Because you're saying that the poor, because I can look at the Bible and I can see there's numbers, there's numerology all over the place in the Bible. I see the Quran, and I see the Talmud. I see so many books, you know, the ancient books of wisdom, that the numbers doesn't come from poverty, but it comes from some kind of connection with the forces of God, of the gods, or if not one God, but of many gods. So I wonder, why are you singling the poor? Did any of you pick that up? I mean, do you understand? And we just let it go by? I mean,
No, what I thought of was more about hope. I guess there's more hope when you're poor and you see the lottery as a way out. That's what I was thinking about, and I was also thinking about how sometimes you read too much into it because you want to see something that is not there.
we have hit bottom in terms of the depression.
Really?
And there's not just a emotional depression, psychological depression in society, but there is a economic depression in this country. Yes.
I want to hear what Olga says. What Olga's thinking.
No, I'm just listening. I don't want to interrupt anybody. Yeah, I agree.
I'm having a little hard time to like coming into grasp into this new information that you just shared with me, because I guess I don't see it, or I guess I've been seeing mostly was churches giving food away, and giving a lot of places around where I live, they give food. They give a lot of people also have the benefit card, where they're capable of the government providing food for them. There's these programs like Workforce for me. They help me find a job, and I'm doing thanks because of them security for them. Thanks to them, I have a job with the security, and I get paid very well. And there's other program that I also found out about. It's called it's about clothing. If people need a suit or a shirt, to look professional, they give you a suit free of charge. Shoes, belt, everything, even a watch. And I wore that the day that I went to an interview for my job. Sometimes I think people don't look for ways to find. Because even in the library, there's books that you can borrow for free. There's movies that you can watch for free. There's CDs that you can listen to for free. Sometimes when you have money, instead of like you buy the things, instead of like there's somewhere else that you can find it for free. For me, I have the fortune that I found these places, and now I'm doing pretty well for myself. Now, I mean, I'm not living in a house or anything, but in this country, I see ways out that I don't see in my country. Like in my country, they don't have the card when they give you tickets. I mean, a certain amount of funds so you can buy food. They don't have that in my country. They don't have a place that they give you a shirt and new shirt, new pants, new shoes, so you can have a job. And all these places get a tax refund. I mean, get a tax cut or something like that. And it's a give and get. So they don't have that in my country, and that's why I guess I'm a little struggling with the whole poverty.
You're struggling with poverty. So wouldn't there be different kinds of poverty?
Yeah, that's the thing. Different kind of poverty. That's the only thing that I can think of.
The more desperate you are, the more you relate to God or something mysterious, right?
Right.
If it's a lottery, if it's a dream, whatever it can be. You know, the same as with the omens and all these superstitions and these beliefs, right? The more kind of it makes you feel more secure, right? Because we're really insecure when we are only by ourselves, you know, when we are without, I don't know, strong belief in God or something like that. And poverty is one of the signs when we are unsuccessful, right? We believe that maybe God left us or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think Jorge exactly meant it only poor people dream and start to write such write the signs. It's just,
So then what you're saying is the nature of us people, all people, is the transcendent. We admit that when we're faced with certain challenges or certain difficulties or roadblocks, barriers maybe, such as poverty or unemployment or hunger, then we call upon super forces. We call upon the spiritual, the gods, but then some people would say, I will not ask God for any help at all. I would not call upon any God. I will do after I've done my work, after I've done everything possible. My father, we had 8 children in our family, and then we come from a family of a migrant family. I mean, he was making $40 a week. And there was a food basket waiting outside the door of our house. I remember that day. And he said, don't touch that food basket. We will not touch that. We will not take it. I will not take help from people. We're a little bit on the edge, you know, but you can see that, you know, what I'm saying is that some people do run to that kind of, you know, looking for that kind of answer, that kind of help, but some people don't. And in this country, like you're saying too, is hopefully there's a means, there's a way.
Yeah.
They say, the American people say, where there's a will, there's a way. But is there a will? Whose will?
The thing is that
And whose will?
the phrase that always pops in my head is he helps who helps themselves, which when I always say that, it's like he's basically telling us that we're on our own. That's what I always tell my mom. When I was like a little angry about religion, when I found out that you know, my people were forced into Christianity, and I always told her that. So I told her we're on our own. He's not gonna. So it's not gonna. Our job is not gonna drop my way. I have to find it. I have to go look for it. It's not just somebody's gonna knock on my door and say you want a job or something. So we have to look for our stuff.
You're convicted and you're going to make it.
Yeah. And with that, it's going to come struggles. I mean, it's not going to be easy for you to do that. I mean, what is the saying? I mean, sayings come because of everybody agrees with them or something like that. And the whole, what is it called? Nothing that's worth having comes easily, something like that. When something is truly important, truly valuable, it's difficult to get, and you know that shows you the appreciation for it that you have it. I mean. Poverty issue?
No. The poverty issue about dreams and numbers, okay? So when I said it, I wasn't saying that it's bad to look at the numerology or mathematical patterns and things. But when someone, and I think Olga said it very well when Olga said, the more desperate you are, the more you look into things for some kind of help to come, you know? Okay, it's true, but like as far as like the lottery, it's really, I've really thought about it and I really read this research one day, and you know, if we think about it closely, all of those $250 million they have is because so many people were like trying to get the lottery, lost the lottery. That's how they get all that money so that one person can get it. And you gotta think about that sometimes. I mean, seriously, that money you're trying to get is because you keep losing. That's why it's getting so high, because you keep losing trying to get that lottery. And I try to. It's very difficult to convey my heart to my father. But he really, because he's seen it before one of his dreams did get answered, and so because that one dream got answered, he's gonna try every time. But I think it's an endless cycle of trying to, how do you say, trying to make up, like you said earlier, superstitiously almost, trying to make up the answer when it's not even real. Like that's what the problem I have. Because sometimes.
Wait. What is not real? Because isn't everything we do real?
Real in what sense?
I'm asking you, because you said it's not real.
What do you mean by not real?
Okay. What I mean by not real is that it doesn't bring about actual results that make somebody progress. You know, like, I mean, for example, it's, if I say, this microphone has ears. You can say, oh, it's real. I heard you say that, so it must be real. I heard you say it. But does it have ears, actually? It doesn't have ears.
For you, it could have ears.
For me, how can it have ears for me?
Because you just said it.
Because you said it. You could for you.
But this is not true. This is just a subjective idea that I'm thinking about. But when we look at it as a whole, objectively, the result is that the microphone doesn't have ears, you know?
Suppose it has ears.
I still disagree because we imagine that it has ears. We may imagine that, but it's very difficult because I already know that it doesn't have ears, you know? If I was to be somebody from the outside, but if I already said, if all of us already said that it has ears.
Then it has ears.
This is very
No, it's
difficult.
that we all decided it's a table because we all agree that this will be called a table, and that's about it. That's all we need. You are a man because we all agree that you are a man. I mean, not that we're agreeing men, but we decided on certain names, so you know, we know what the hell is going on in our world. We know what is going on, but that's what we label things to make our life easier, to make it understand. And we all say it has ears and it has ears because we all want it to have ears.
I could say that for me, I speak into it, and because of that, I can say I can give to that microphone ears. I can give to it ears.
The words, right? This experience is very real for your father, right? And maybe it's not real for you. It means it's not true for you, right? It's not that it will give success, but it doesn't mean it's real, right? So your father believes in that, it means he has particular feelings about it. You cannot ignore that.
And
So
maybe real for
yeah.
it,
So
too.
this is the point. I mean, I believe. So like for him to understand that this experience is not real in your words, you just need to show him why it's not real, why it's not true, why it doesn't lead anywhere. Unless you show it to him, it will still be real and unreal for you. So,
And the more real that is for them, people, something, and for us, the more something is real for us, the more we believe it. And the more we believe it,
The more it becomes true.
the more actually, you talk about the development or some results coming, you can honestly, for people, it fills them with something. It gives them something. There's some kind of...
I want to talk about the movie Harvey, or the play Harvey. It's about a invisible bunny that only one man could see. You guys have heard about it? It's very famous. Harvey? It's
Never heard
about a 6-foot invisible rabbit that only a guy could see. It's very famous, a very famous film. They made a play about it. I mean, I think it was a play first and they made a movie. But the point of the movie was that he was the only one that could see it, and their aunts were ashamed of him because, you know, he could see an invisible rabbit that didn't exist. Harming, your father is kind of harming your family. But he wasn't harming anyone by seeing an invisible rabbit. So the whole point of the story was that if he's not harming anyone by just believing that the invisible rabbit exists, then let him believe that, you know. And the kind of thing was that at the end of the movie, like you weren't sure was he real or wasn't he real, because the other woman saw it. He actually saw it. He wasn't sure, like she thought she was going mad, you know, because he mentioned it so much. Now I'm starting to see it myself, and it's just whole play on, you know, psychoanalytic kind of.
Belief doesn't harm me, or doesn't harm everyone or anyone, then just let them believe it, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so what I would say to that is that I look at people, to me, like as a whole, like how I care about that one person. If that one person is not harming anyone, just that one person, to me, like I kind of expand their value so much that I don't want them to live in a lie, even though it may not hurt and harm someone. But that person to me is extremely valuable, you know. So in that case, for example, with my father, of course, he's not hurting anyone, but in a sense, economically, he might be.
You brought in a new concept. You brought in the concept of lie, as if somebody was believing in a lie. But what is a lie?
Yeah, who said it's that?
Yeah.
That's a really good question, you know. I mean, I guess right now what's coming to me, a lie is something that you keep going through, but doesn't give the results that you say it's going to give. So my dad believes that believing in the numbers that the patterns you see, oh, tomorrow's your birthday, then must be a number. He believes in it, but the result is it doesn't come up. So
That's the story. So what do you think? Are people believing in a lie? Even, is it something that you can't, you didn't have,
Yeah.
or you can't have? You can't, some experience you don't have.
Well, this reminds me of you saying that you want to show them the truth about the stuff like that. And remember Christopher Hitchens and Charles Darwin?
Charles Darwin, whatever.
Yeah.
Richard Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins, thank you. All these people, what they're trying to do is say that they're right, that their truth is right, that God doesn't exist. So you kind of see like a resemblance with your father. And so also.
Okay. I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a second point, and that is that the lottery is about randomness. Picking a whole bunch of different numbers to win the lottery. I mean, your father at least he has a system. Everybody's just picking random numbers.
Can you go back to what you were saying before you left Olga and I somewhere out stranded? You're talking about Dawkins, and then you're talking to each other.
I'm sorry.
Talk to the group.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're talking about. Finish that.
I didn't study. I read some material by Richard Dawkins and what's his name? Richard. I'm terrible.
Christopher Hitchens and Richard Dawkins.
Thank you, Christopher Hitchens, and he's a great debater. Christopher Hitchens, and I liked him because he was very against the Catholic Church. About where were you during when blacks were where were you during segregation? You're supposed to be our moral what's it called? Compass, and you weren't there to tell us like this is wrong to be treating people a certain way. I mean, where were you during this time? And there's certain things that I like about him, like everybody else. It's not black and white. You agree with everything they say. For me, I'm just
so how do you connect that to this?
So we're talking about lies.
We're talking about lies, and he said about he trying to show them the lies, and Christopher Hitchens goes to this debate to try to get people to stop being religious, or try to believe in
Okay, one of the issues in small group what we want to bring out in group is when we discuss things,
Right.
we can have different, very strong. Olga can come here with very strong opinion about something, but we can appreciate and listen to her.
Right.
We don't want to change her, because small group is not to convert anybody, change anybody. You, Jorge, can have your own point of view. You might have your own point of view.
Right.
I have a point of view. But the point is that we can have many points of view, and we want to be able to appreciate different points of view.
Right.
See, where this gets off to the wrong end in our democratic society is people try to get very, you might say, domineering, and try to control where everybody believes the same thing.
Right. It's that we all interpret the truth differently, and we all have to pick. We all sometimes have to.
We don't interpret truth. That's a different story.
Interpret
we
things.
interpret certain experiences we have, not truth. That's another story.
What do you mean by that?
Because when you take an experience with numbers, because how does he back it up? In a scientific way, you use either deduction or induction, but you're going to look at it and you're going to go back and you're going to look at it. It's been my experience that number 8 over and over is a significant number for me. Somebody might say, your father might say, a family might say. So 8 in that family might be, and then they find other kind of evidence for that, using science or experience. So that's them, but it's not a truth. For them, it might be real.
But for me, it's not, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So
We all
something can be
that's what I
real,
mean by
but not,
interpreting truth.
something can be real but not true. It's a very interesting concept. I never thought about that.
Yes.
I think of the whole when you want to when you say like I'm trying to show him the truth. I think of when a person thinks they're really good at singing and they're terrible
That
at
goes
it.
back to what you're saying, because you're asking if you don't want people believing a lie. In other words,
Believe in a lie.
you have a sort of a genre. You have this kind of energy to see that people are true, follow truth.
I know that some people try to walk around trying to disprove everyone, in a very intellectual way, trying to prove or disprove, truth or not true. But in my case,
there's also people who go around trying to correct people.
yes,
There's people who go around trying to rearrange your life, who try to correct you.
yeah, but
You're with the wrong group. You're with the Moonies. You're with the the Unification. You're with the Catholic Church. You're with the Jewish Church. And I'm going to correct you because you're wrong.
Right.
Because you're living a lie.
Right.
see, I want to make a small point about that. my case, when I look at people that something that because it's something really emotional to me. When I see someone that to them, like you said, something it might be real, maybe not universally true, but to them it might be real. But I don't know, I can feel like it hurts me for when that person it hurts me. I don't like it because I know they're going through an endless cycle of nothingness.
Give me an example.
Huh?
Give me an example.
So, like the example with my father. Like my father thinks that I know I keep using the same example.
No, it's good. It's a good example.
But it's really vivid to me. Like my father thinks he sees a pattern. The word love has 4 letters. Tomorrow, it's like any pattern, and he thinks it's gonna come in the lottery. But this is just how do I say it? Something he makes up. Now, I know that maybe he's not hurting anyone. Maybe he's not harming anyone. I know the point a lot of people make. I know maybe it's his money, but it just hurts me. It's not something like I want to disprove him. Man, that's not true. Like pointing fingers. To me, it's something really emotional that I don't like, and I don't want anyone to live in a cycle of nothingness.
Can I? No, go on.
What is this? Can you describe for us more? What is this cycle of nothingness? What is this?
What do I mean by that?
Yeah,
I like using this.
Nothingness.
I like using this term.
Is this Jean-Paul Sartre, some kind of existentialist abyss, some kind of?
Actually, I don't know if anybody's used that word. Have you ever heard anybody use that word before? Cycle of nothingness. Cycle of nothingness.
Cycle. Whether it's nothingness, then it's not a cycle. That's what I'm
I mean, it
thinking.
cannot be cycle, right?
Well, okay. So I'll explain what I mean by that.
I mean,
It sounds cool though.
we totally understand. Like you feel like your father doesn't experience joy and happiness and stuff. That's why it hurts you because it's your father. Like, so
Okay.
understandable. There is one thing, feeling for somebody and trying to correct them. It's something completely different. Like
Okay.
so if you feel they don't experience joy and happiness, it doesn't mean that if you correct them, they will immediately experience joy.
That's
and
true.
happiness,
That's
right?
true.
So, like, there is a huge bridge, there's a huge road between you understanding what they suffer from and helping them,
Mm-hmm.
And like this bridge, we need to learn what helps other people to understand what is joy and happiness. If you really if you know what truth is, right, and you're really convinced, there is a huge bridge you should help this person to cross. And
Right.
first of all, we need to figure out, I guess, what would be the best for these people, right? Whether it will be your instruction for father, don't do it because it's stupid, it's a lie, it's not real, right? And it doesn't work, right? Usually people just jump over your bridge, right?
That's right.
And into the cycle of nothingness, right? Or try to find a way. Joy, happiness. So this is, I guess, sorry, this is, I
Please
guess,
finish,
I feel like this is what Mr. Gall was talking about, right? You cannot judge because you immediately jump into the conclusions that they should do, right? Because
can you explain that more, please?
okay, acknowledging the feelings, acknowledging that this is not real, this is not true, doesn't mean that you have the right to correct them, or doesn't mean that you have the right just to
Okay,
act
so,
upon that.
You're right. So it's a very interesting predicament. When we see someone when we are in a position where we see someone that we clearly see they're not experiencing joy, and that once again they go through the cycle of nothingness, and what I mean by that, over and over trying to do something that's not achieving results is what I mean. Over and over trying to do something that is not achieving results.
Say that again. This is slow.
Yes. It's a very interesting position or predicament that we're in when we see someone who is in the position.
You're in or what? Don't put us with you.
Okay.
Be very careful with words.
When I or someone is in the position where they are looking or connecting to someone else who is going through a cycle of trying to do something over and over, but it's not getting them joy, it's not getting them happiness, it's not getting them results that they're trying to get, but they keep trying to do this thing.
Now you're telling us about the cycle of nothingness.
Yes, exactly. Okay, you following me now, right? So what Olga said is really interesting. But so in that case, what if because you're right, if I tell my dad, if I give him, like you said, instructions or whatever, and I try to prove to him, whatever, that what he's saying is not real,
Okay, well, this is bothering me because I see that we all have different points of views, and this is what I like coming here because we all have different. Olga's saying, you cannot say someone is not what they believe is not true. Somebody might come
But
to
she's
you.
not saying you can't. She's sharing her point of view.
Yes, I'm sorry.
She's just trying to. She's mirroring
Right.
what you're doing. Because apparently you don't know what you're. you know, this is the first time you can get some feedback. This
Yes,
is what
yeah.
the nature of a small group,
Yes,
is that
yes,
you can get feedback, and we're generating more here in awareness. See, awareness takes time
Right.
and awareness on our part. We have to be aware of what we're doing before we do things to
There
other
you go.
people.
Right.
There you
Right,
go.
this is very important, and this is small. We, in a sense, we're generating discussion, dialogue here so that we know more. We're aware of where we're going with people and where people are going with us, and when we're doing are we very clear?
There you go. This awareness that you're talking about. This is the thing that I have. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You cannot force someone to see something. They have to see it themselves. That's how my family always deals with things. My mother always lets me do whatever I want and learn from that, even if she doesn't agree with it. Like I used to dye my hair different colors. I used to have like dark nails and stuff like that. Until I saw that was ridiculous. She didn't stop me. She let me do it. And until I realized this is stupid, this is pointless. I mean, what am I doing? You know, stop. Until I came to that, realization, I stopped. Did
But
stop
Michael,
doing those
in that
things.
case, your mother did say something to you, right?
Yeah, but that's about it. Just once or
But
twice.
they didn't
That's
force
about
you.
it.
But they didn't
Yeah,
force
just leave it to yourself.
So in my case,
Don't just keep saying it over and over again. Just if you said it once or twice, that's enough.
Yeah.
You made your point, and just let them come to the realization out their own.
Yes, yeah,
Like
mhm.
my
But for some reason, let's go back, there's this some kind of, some kind of mission.
Yeah.
We have, and it's not you, Jorge, it's in people. Good intentions isn't enough. And that's what we're discussing here right now, because in our discussion is because we want to really be sure, be certain that even what I'm saying where do I get my version of what's real and what's a lie? What's a lie? Because I can really see is that so many people, even where I'm at now, where many people my belief might be, that many people try to tell me, hey, you believe that?
And then if they take it or they don't take it, that's up to them to realize on their own, right? But I think the question still comes, it's to me it's not unbearable, but to me it's really difficult I'm not talking about me, but I think for some people it is not easy to keep looking at. If I'm not saying something about it, what am I doing?
There is truth, right? We believe it's true, and the point here is not to deny that there is truth. We're not here to deny that everything is relative, not at all.
Okay, yeah, all right.
The point is here how you act upon the truth, right? And if force works, do force. If force doesn't work, do something else. It's not the point. The point is just, then you're looking at your father and you're looking at the person, right? Looking what would be best for them. What would be best for them. And it's not about me feeling miserable and being like, saying that I cannot bear this. If you cannot bear, then you cannot help the person. Try to distance yourself, and again, I'm telling you what to do, right? And it's I don't have the right to do this, right? So the main point for me is just it's not about us eventually, right? It's not about us. So what can we do to understand how to improve stuff, right? What can we do to completely distance, be selfless in helping?
Well, this reminds me.
Up now tonight, and it's amazing how a small group we don't come to a necessary conclusion. It's almost like we continue the next time. But I just want to say thank you very much. It was so hot tonight, I could feel it. We didn't you feel tonight? We got into some issues, and I want to just conclude now because the time is up. And I want to thank all of you, not both, but all of you, and all of you who came in here fresh tonight, and she has a lot. She's working here at Forest 43rd Street and working very well. She's a fantastic woman
who does a lot of many good, there's many activities, there's seminars, there's ballroom dancing, there's open mic, there's so many activities going on here at 4 West 43rd Street. I want to thank that the Lab and Life Ministry also has offered us and given us this room here to have our event, the small group Leadership Unplugged. I want to thank Michael, Jorge, Olga. Each of you wants to just say goodbye, something say goodbye. How it was here for you tonight, real quick?
Yeah, I just want to say goodbye, and through this discussion, something the same phrase I thought of, and it was that everybody something seems to know how somebody else should act, how they should dress, but when it comes down to themselves, they don't know anything about who they are as a person. That's what I thought of.
I want to say goodbye and thank you for everything. And one thought that is really in my mind and heart is something can be real but not true. So interesting.
It's amazing. It's really good. Yeah, and I want to say thank you to everybody. It's amazing how much you can learn from people whom you think you learned for a long time. Yeah, and just like as much as another person is a mystery, yourself is a mystery. It's wonderful to uncover yourself all the time. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And also for you, and Michael. Yeah, for me too, I think it was really good tonight because as a facilitator of the group, I get myself involved with it too because we're all, the colloquium is we're together in this, and I see that we have a lot that we want to share with, and we're no one person is being picked on, but we become ourselves, we make ourselves accessible to the group so the group can move on, flow with the conversation. Thank each and every one of you. I want to thank all of you for coming with us tonight. And remember one thing as we conclude, that it only takes a flame to keep the fire going. Okay? Have a good week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks here at 7:30, 4 West 43rd Street, Love and Life Ministry. Thank you. Good night.